Well, here we are, out again in a heat wave. I know you're laughing, but this is what heat waves are like in Wales. I've had a really busy week this week. I've been up to Scotland this week. I came back on Friday and it was raining, properly raining, and carried on raining, and then once we crossed the border into the Lake District, the wind picked up as well. It was quite exposed there, so it was really difficult driving. And so we were driving along, as I say, in this rain and the spray and the wind. And then on the wireless, they said the government have issued, or the Met Office have issued, an amber weather warning. And my wife and I both looked at each other and their hearts sunk, because driving in torrential rain and stuff is really, really difficult, especially on a Friday with the most unbelievable traffic volume. And then he said, so make sure you put on plenty of sun cream, and make sure you stay hydrated. And we just both laughed. And then my wife said, is he being sarcastic? Anyway, I got down to Manchester. The M6 is a pretty unpleasant place to be any day of the week. Never mind on a Friday with all the traffic. So I turned off and went down the A49, and it was beautiful. And the sun was out and the scenery was wonderful. And it was just a really nice drive, all the way down to Hereford. And then as we started heading to Wales from Hereford, it started to get gloomy and overcast. And by the time we got to Cardiff, it was raining. And then Saturday, I went up to the Midlands. And coming back, the temperature on the dash was showing 29 degrees. The aircon was blowing. And again, I love it because, as I've said before, quite often we underestimate what a country we've got. It's always easy to assume that somebody else's country is better, and you discount where you live. But there's some beautiful parts of Britain, and driving through the Cotswolds was lovely. And I phoned my wife because she didn't come with me to the Midlands, and I said, wow, sun's beating down, it's 29 degrees. She said, it's raining here. I said, oh. In fact, she said it's been raining all day. And I just find it really fascinating that you can have people basking in 30-degree heat, sun beating down, and yet 30 or 40 miles away, as the crow flies, we need a jacket to go outside. But I wanted to ride today because I haven't ridden a bike for over a week. I went out last week, had a puncture that wouldn't seal. I think I did 10 miles before I gave up. But I've had this kind of muscle pain. I don't know what's caused it. It's been troubling me for a while. And it sort of comes and goes, It's just one of those things about getting old. As Lee Evans said, as you get older, you wake up with a stiff neck. Other people have got a stiff neck from playing rugby or something. He said, no, I've got a stiff neck from sleeping. So anyway, that's what I'm saying is I don't know what caused this thing, but it's been a bit stiff, you know. And usually, cycling, if I go out and don't ride too hard, it actually helps. Anyway, Sunday, my daughter wanted some laminate flooring done. So I said, yes, I'll do that for you. And about halfway across the floor, I was trying to fit a piece of laminate to another, and I'm not exaggerating, it actually felt like somebody had got a kitchen knife and stabbed me in the leg with force. I was in agony. My wife thought I was having a heart attack. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to leave it for another day. But anyway, my daughter had been watching what I was doing, and she said, I think I can do it now. And she did. So she did the second half of it. So I decided I better give the leg a rest for a week or so. So as I said, I wanted to ride today, and there was no rain forecast, but I knew it was raining. Because we've got 4 cats, and one of them doesn't seem to mind the rain, but the other 3 somehow think it's our fault that it's raining, and they'll stand at the back door refusing to go out the cat flap because they think somehow we can switch the rain off. When they come back after eventually giving up and going out, when they come back, they expect us to dry them off because, well, it's obviously it's our fault that it's raining, so, you know, just dry them off. And so one of the cats came in and rubbed himself against my leg, and I thought, God, he's soaked. So yeah, well, definitely raining then, which is often the case when we have no rain forecast, and it may not clear up all day. The one thing I can guarantee you is it definitely won't clear up until I get back from cycling. If I wait till 4 o'clock to go cycling, it'll rain until I get back. So I'm doing my civic duty, you know, I go out in the rain, so there's a better chance that everybody else can have a dry afternoon. And really, that's all I wanted to say today, because with all of the trips to Scotland and injury and everything, I haven't really had time to make a video this week. So this is just a video explaining why there's no proper video. And again, if you find my ramblings interesting, like and subscribe. And if I've bored the arse off of you, I apologise.